Hello and welcome, Inspired Podcast community. This is your new episode. My name is Caroline, and my today's guest is Brandon Neely. And I'm so happy that he said yes to our interview. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm good, short of oral surgery, but everything else is perfect.
Okay, it's a perfect day to have an interview with me, with Caroline,
Yeah.
and I would love to introduce you to the audience, of course, first. So, you are a bank on yourself professional, CEO, and financial expert who helps clients achieve long term prosperity through personalized financial strategies. You share your insights on your podcast, empowering individuals to take control of their financial futures. Welcome to the Inspired Podcast, Brandon Neely.
Hey, thanks for having me, Caroline.
And please um, remind me of the name of you said financial, was it wisdom?
Yeah,
The name?
our business name and website, actually, the website we redid the website and it was released yesterday, the new website. So we've been doing business for years, but finally had the um, second or third iteration of the website. So Wealth Wisdom FP, that's Wealth Wisdom F as in financial, P as in partners.com, because we want to not just say, hey, do all the work for you, but we partner in your financial journey.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much. And I have a first question for you. What inspired you to focus on the bank on yourself strategy in your financial planning approach?
Yeah, so this is for like almost like the US type is like I used to own a coffee shop, right? And in this coffee shop, my biggest investment was me. My biggest risk was me and my wife, of course. Um, and what was the challenge was where do I put my savings and all of that, and how do I protect that biggest risk? So we had found this concept called Bank It Yourself, which was properly designed life insurance that is high cash value. Right now, most listeners will listen to this and already turn off saying, "Oh, I already know that," or this or that, or can't be done, or whatever. But what was the power of this is I was able to use my policy I was saving for hopefully opportunities, but I also used it for emergencies, like a giant flood that happened in our business. Uh, Literally a flood, the roof was off and the store got flooded. So, um, so what we had to do was use our uh, liquidity to overcome the flood, and then used it for other things. I've used it to do real estate and other ways. So it's a foundational asset that I use to help people not just risk, because you hear no risk, no reward, but sometimes you need to be saving too, and it's a balance.
Oh, yeah, I love that. And I understand, of course, how you did this. And I also love the analogy. So you talked about the flood that
Mhm.
occurred, and you talked about liquidity at the same time. So
Yeah,
it's related a little bit,
different
you
kind of
know?
liquidity, I guess.
Yeah,
Um, I don't want that liquidity ever again. Financial liquidity is a good thing.
that's true. Okay. Of course, I would love to know how can the bank on yourself method help individuals achieve greater financial security compared to traditional methods?
Yeah, so I think it's just really thinking through where money goes, right? And so a lot of times we're told to risk, save. We don't even understand how that the banks are charging us tons of interest. We think buy now, get what I want now, no consequences later. So what I like to think about is live within your means, save first, then invest, build a good foundation first, and a 401k or those kind of things aren't stability, because they can change. All that stuff can change. So building a good foundation, reverse engineer your finances, and ultimately, every one of us needs to ask ourselves, what do I want? And most people haven't asked those questions of what do I want in life? What are my goals in the future? Those kind of things. That's kind of why we wrote our book. So,
Yeah, that's so true. When you know your why, then decision making is easy, right?
mhm. It should be. I mean, still, may and I think it's kind of like going slow so you can go fast. People think, oh, well, you're not doing this or that. But if you're building the foundation, think about a house, right? You see them building it for a long time, and you're like, they're not doing anything, but they're building the foundation. And then all of a sudden it goes up real fast. You're like, wow, that just happened real fast because they spend a lot of time on the foundation, whereas we look at the results of the house, not the foundation that it's built on. If you, I mean, it's in the Bible, all kinds of places. If you build it on um,
Sand.
sand, it's not gonna stand. So,
Oh, I love that as well. So take care of your foundation and that it is stable or solid, so
hmm
to say,
hmm
not liquid. And then it leads to liquidity.
yeah, right, yeah.
You know, yeah, I love that. Okay. What are some common misconceptions people have about managing their finances and how can they overcome them?
I think that one is they just give it to a guy and say that guy will help me, or girl. They'll do it, and just trusting Wall Street. How's that worked out for us? Um, I don't know that that's the best approach. My biggest suggestion to anybody is to actually think about your own thing. Don't just say, "Well, I'll deal with it later." Have some time, think about it now, and then build your plan. Don't just give it to a guy and say, "Oh, they'll figure it out." Or put it in again in the market and say, "Who knows? It'll be fine in 30 years." And the truth is we don't know, but building that foundation takes intentionality. So be intentional.
Yes, that's so important. You mentioned, yeah, some people give their money away to someone or let it be managed, and then the money can be gone very
hmm
easily, and then they complain.
Yep. Yeah, and I think you want to have experts, right? Multiple experts. So I have a
Mm.
tax strategist. I'm a safe money guy. Then if I'm doing investments in real estate, I might ask somebody who knows that. And so I kind of think of me as a um, cardiologist in the banking yourself profit first space. And I really know how that works, and I can see things um, different than someone else. If you're a mechanic, you don't want to come to me for um, your car troubles. You want to go to a mechanic, right? I kind of look at us as that.
Yeah, you have to go to an expert, and how do you qualify or differentiate between who is the real
Yeah,
expert?
that's a great question, and I think there's a lot of what do you call this? People who are faking it out there, and you have to ask them, "What are you doing? One with your own money." Um, how have you used the concepts or any of that stuff? Not just, hey, I'm a consultant and you should do all this, but how have they implemented what they're teaching, right? And I think that that's a bigger challenge, and actually look again under the hood, because a lot of people can fake it using credit cards to have a TikTok whatever and say, "Oh, look how good I am. Look, I have a jet behind me," and they rented the jet to make them look cool. And I'm like, "Well, so you really got to do your due diligence on that part too."
Yes, this is so true, and it's important to make the right choices.
Yeah. When I work with my clients, I'm like, "Here's what I did. Here's how it's working. Here's how I'm investing in real estate or doing those kind of things." But you again, going back to the foundation, if you don't have your foundation set, you're looking for quick fixes, and that's our problem today. Is people are um, been told no risk, no reward, all of this for years, and now they're like, oh wait, it didn't work out as I planned. Now they risk more because they're in more pain, and they never actually live within their means in the first place.
Yes, that's true. So once again, the foundation is important. And what
Mhm.
about your own, you mentioned it already, your own coaches and mentors? Do you have coaches and mentors for yourself? And who was the best coach you ever had?
Oh man, that's a hard one. I had some that back in the day we were actually planting a church, and we had the worst year of our life um, in during that time. And one of the best coaches didn't ask, "What are you producing?" They asked, "How is your marriage? How is your inside? How is your soul?" Right, kind of a thing. And I think that that is one of the best coaches that I've had is somebody who cares about me, not just what do I produce, right? Um, and then my mentor, he runs a podcast called Not Your Average Financial Podcast. I've learned a ton from him in our industry and continue to learn from him. And that's been another one of just, hey, he's just a couple steps ahead of me.
Yes. So important to accept help, to ask for help, and not figuring it all out for yourself because a mentor saves you time, right?
Right, and I have mentors in other areas, like from marriage to health to, different other things, and I'm always learning because there's things I mean, I don't know about you, but I've never attained sainthood or godhood yet, so I don't know everything. Always keep learning, even if I've been super successful financially, I still gotta grow in other areas.
Yes, so true. So thank you so much for sharing. And my next question is about your goals and intentions. Do you set goals for yourself, and what is one of your next projects?
Yeah. So we just launched the website. That was a big project. Now we got to get it out there in the world. So that's another big project. We wrote a book that was more of a, in this book, it was more of a thinking book. My wife and I have been done business together for a long time. And she's like, we need a kind of like um, a thinking book about our money, right? And so the book is called, and I have it right here, Five Smooth Stones, right? So this is it. Um, there's an online version too. So if you go to our website, wealthwisdomfp.com/shop, there's a Kindle version as well, but it's an interactive money journal. So what we've thought about is, okay, it's called Five Smooth Stones because in the Bible, David and Goliath, David was given um, five stones, used one to beat his Goliath. Now, our Goliath, from a financial perspective, in my opinion, is chaos, confusion, haphazard, anxious, overwhelming, and stressful. That's COVID. That's whatever happened in the past, right? Our taxes. I don't know about in the U.S. Our tax code is crazy. I don't know about yours, but it is complicated, to say the least. So we have to get out of chaos and we have to go into what I call the still method. And so for us, it's setting our sights. So me and my wife regularly set our sights, not just financially, but what kind of parent do I want to be? Um, right. And set our sights. How are we going to achieve those goals? Then we have to track our in and out. You don't just say, I have goals, but track it. Inspect your progress. Look for 1% adjustments, adjust a little bit, and live deliberately. So there's a lot of so that is still method. You could use it. You don't even need the book, right? I mean, you should buy the book, right? Um, however, right, STILL, your goals, track, all that stuff. And so for one of ours is I want to make sure that we are not the best kept secret. So our next goal is to get out there more and help people, specifically on finances, whether they do a life insurance policy with me or not. The world needs more people thinking about their own futures, not just waiting until they're 75 and say, "Oh, I should have thought about that."
That's so true. Thank you so much for sharing with us. Also, your book will be on. So, I created a list, for all the books of my podcast guests. It's amazing. It's on Amazon as well. It's called Inspired Choice Today. I don't know if I can put the link somewhere. I did not promote it yet so much, but your book, of course, will be
Hmm.
there. I think it is inspiring too, and not your book is surely inspiring, but I mean the list I
Yeah.
created to find it, of course. Thank you so much. And now is time for your final thoughts to the audience, please.
Yeah. I would say, you know, be a thinker. Don't just be a consumer. Most people, the world is taught to consume, and we don't realize that we're just kind of doing Netflix binges or whatever. I don't know what it is, but be a thinker in your own life, whatever culture you're in, because someone else has a plan for you and your money, but you should have that plan first, and then adjust. Right. That's why I look at marriages, I look at family dynamics, and a lot of times money is the root of why things broke down. Have those conversations. They may be hard, but have them with your spouses, with your families before it's too late. Don't just say, "Oh, well, now I need health care. Can my kids help me?" Or whatever. I think that's selfish, but how do we best um, position ourselves to be the leaders in our family, not just the, I don't know, people that are wanting. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. I understand your message, and I'm happy that you are part of the Inspired Podcast guest family, of course, because this message is so important to take responsibility for your finances, of course. And
Hmm.
yeah, please reach out to Brandon. He's amazing. He shares his knowledge. Check out his website. I put it in the show notes, of course. And thank you so much.
Yeah. And as you go to it, you guys will be the first. So if you see a broken link or something, let me know because still testing and all of that. But I'm pretty sure everything works. But you never know. All of a sudden, sometimes there's some little thing somewhere that people find. So
So true. We are happy to support you with that. Yes, and we keep in touch. Thank you so
awesome.
much.
Awesome.
And
Thanks,
see you,
Caroline. Looking forward to chatting again soon.
yes, and see you in the next episode.